Hope everyone's having a great day. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. As you can see, I have this is actually a 2018 Seadoo Rxtx, and I am taking it to the lake this weekend and it needs to be serviced. So we're going to go ahead and get started on it. So we'll start by pulling the seat if I can figure out how to get two hands. So there's a button, just like that. And I'm going to take that off later because I have to take this whole panel off. But let me set these aside and then we'll continue. So now with the seats removed, I set them on my other one over there. This panel's going to have to be removed. It's just a bunch of T30s. The one thing special about this is these two front ones, there's 10mm nuts inside that you're going to have to counter hold. So let me get those real quick. So we're going to go ahead and start ripping these out. I'll start at the back, the easy one, because I'm lazy. Oh, I got it. Washer and the nut. Okay, now what kind of sucks is a modification I did to this is going to make this more difficult, which is to be expected because that's just how it works. So as you can see, there's these two screws and then these two screws. I actually added an additional second battery to this. So it's all zip tied and hardwired in, so I'm just gonna have to push this. Let me see if I can get these bolts out. Kind of wedged in there. Set that right there. Just so I don't scratch nothing. Then I'm gonna set this like this. Not scratching anything, hopefully. Okay. Well, that's how we do that. I'm gonna set it over there. See, they don't come like that. That's an add-on that I did. Whether it be smart or stupid, I like it. And that is a AGM, so it's a sealed battery, so I don't have to worry about it spilling. The next step we're gonna do is I'm actually gonna do a coolant flush. Or not a flush. I'm just gonna do a drain and fill because I'm lazy. You're supposed to do it at 5 years according to the manual. These are 5 years old, so we're gonna go ahead and knock that out. And I did buy the original Seadoo Coolant or BRP or Can-Am, whatever you want to call it. So we're gonna pop that lid and then we'll go ahead and drain that, and then I'll get the sucker ready. We're gonna suck the oil out of this real quick. So I got this magical sucker here. I actually just bought off Amazon. I'll show you in a second. Once we get this out, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the dipstick, wipe it, make sure it's nice and clean. And then we're gonna get the sucker rod, the tube, and clean it so we don't get any debris in this engine. We're going to stick it down there. Then we'll pump it up. Then we get some oil. And this oil only has probably 10 hours on it. It's from last year. These engines in these Seadoos are very expensive. So for the oil and the filter for original BRP stuff, I think it's like $80, $70, $80, somewhere around there. It's worth it to spend the money than blow this engine up because I couldn't put an engine in this. And this is a nice sucker I got. Excuse the floor, I know it's really dirty. But it actually looks really good. I'll put it in the link below. This one actually comes with a tube, another tube. And funny, I don't know if I'm supposed to take that stuff out. I didn't disassemble it, I just put it to work. But I used it on the other one. I did all this stuff the other night on the blue ski over there, and the thing worked amazing. I usually have an air-powered one that I have to use a compressor for. At home, I don't have a compressor. I have a little pancake one, you know, for like a brad nailer or something. And then I have the Milwaukee battery-powered one, but those are not good. They're not good enough to use that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna pump this up a little bit. And then we're gonna move on to draining the coolant out. Now, this is a little different, which this actually has a ride plate on the bottom. Has a closed loop cooling system, so all the coolant in the engine runs through this plate. This is like the radiator, which is actually really cool. So that if you're driving in the ocean, you don't suck that nasty salt water in your engine and rot out your engine if you don't flush it. So we'll go ahead and pull this off. And that coolant's from the other day, and there's a nice dead bug in there. I believe this is a 5mm Allen. And I'm using all my home tools, so not using the best stuff, but gets the job done. And she squirts, so you gotta be careful. So we'll go ahead and let that drain while I set that on the ground, I guess. And then we'll get back on the oil change up here. Okay, so the next step we're gonna do while this thing's sucking the oil out, I'm gonna continue pumping it. I had to get my tools ready for the oil filter. So the oil filter is this little black thing right here. It's a cartridge filter, like a car. And hopefully I got the right socket. Cool. So it's an E10. And I did it last, so it's gonna be really tight. A little too tight for my liking. That didn't feel so good. And I know what happened, maybe. So we're gonna release it slow. Hopefully it's all okay in there. Because I'm supposed to be going tomorrow, taking these out. So let's hope I didn't destroy it when I did the last oil change. Because I'm the only one that's ever serviced these. So we got that out. Let's see, it hasn't been started in a while, so it should be dry. Oh, it looks okay. Threads look fine. Huh. And see, I always use Rotax. You can see how clean the oil is. These things they're babied. Well, I mean, maintenance-wise, but we beat the living death out of it on the water. Looks good in there. No metal, no nothing. So we'll go ahead and change this filter out real quick. Let me go grab the stuff for it, and we'll get her back in. So this is actually the kit I use. Excuse all the white stuff on it. That was me from sanding. Genuine BRP, the XPS, the semi-synthetic stuff built for this. It is a little bit more money, but it's built for it, and I don't feel like putting the wrong stuff in. And see, it's Rotax. You have to be careful with some of these brands. I've bought in some of these filter kits, and they're not genuine. So you have to be very, very careful of that. And then come with the O-rings, and there's actually another O-ring that I replace just because I'm extra weird, and I don't know what I did with it. It's up on my bench. So let me go grab that real quick, and then we'll get this filter changed. And yes, I know I need new blinds. I did that the other day when I went to open them. They completely fell apart, so I will be getting new ones of those eventually. So these two seals go on the actual base of the filter right here. They go right here. You got the thick one, the thin one. Those two right there. There's this one right here. You don't have to change it every time, I don't think. I'm not a Seadoo mechanic, so I don't know. My friend had some. I did the oil change on his, and I noticed that these were leaking, and his are like 2009 or something. So I just make it a habit of changing mine now, so I don't have to ever worry about it. And it's fairly simple. You're already right here, so we'll go ahead and pop this filter off first, and then we're going to we have to take this nut off right here. So we're gonna go get a 13 wrench. We're gonna put on this nut, and then we're gonna, it's a little complicated looking, but basically we gotta take this nut off. And I think it's, yeah, that's what it was doing. It was moving off the nut, because they're originally, the nuts, they come Loctited on, I believe, which I probably should put it back on with Loctite so I don't have to deal with that scariness. I thought I stripped it, but yeah, see, that's what happened. Yeah, I'm gonna Loctite that back in. And it looks like we're done sucking oil, and our coolant thing was done earlier too. So, sorry, I'm doing this all off camera. So basically pull the sleeve off, it goes any which way, pull the nut off, and then we'll take the ratchet off. And you can see that's where that O-ring lives. So we're gonna go ahead, and I'm being special today. Let me go grab another rag. So here's the O-ring that we're gonna replace. Like I said, this is a 2018 Rxtx, and this is the part number that I got right here, because I'm gonna need this for future reference. I'm gonna have to order it. The part number is 420950860. I'm not sure if they're all the same for all of them, but in this company right here, this is a brand Leaders RPM. I bought in quite a bit of stuff from them. They're a good company. The only thing I don't like about them is it seems like some of my orders I get, they're not complete. So for a good, one of the first times I purchased from them, I actually bought that battery bracket, this one right there. That I just bought the bracket. It's a whole kit. So it's everything but the battery. So it's the bracket, the bolts, the wires all the way to the first battery. And those were expensive at the time. They were actually on sale. They were $2 something each. And usually they're high $2s. I bought them in the low $2s. And when I purchased them, I bought 2, 1 for each ski. And they only sent me 1. Which, it kind of sucks because I hate being that guy, you know. But they only sent me 1, so I emailed them and they looked into it and they sent me the other one. I had really no hesitation, which was really nice, you know. I hate being that guy, but I paid for 2. I spent almost $500 on 2 of them, so, you know, it is what it is. And then I think I ordered coolant one time. I think I ordered coolant from my Can-Am, and they shorted the order again. That's the second time I've ordered from them, and second time they shorted me. But overall, they seem good besides that, but they have no problem owning up to their mistake and getting it handled. So that's the old oil filter, obviously. And the new one, obviously, Rotax. And I'm getting a little ahead of myself tonight because I'm kind of in a rush. So we have the O-ring. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use some of this old oil and put it on this O-ring so it doesn't pinch it or bite it when we do that. We'll put it back together. And then I'm going to pop it in because it has a channel it sits in. Make sure it goes in nice and good. Make sure it's all lubed up. Okay, that's good. Now we're going to put this on. See, I keep forgetting everything. I need my red Loctite. Let me go grab that. So I got the magic juice. We're going to go ahead and give it just this, because this is inside the engine. We don't want this stuff getting out. Just a dab. I mean, that's a little bit much for me. Make sure you put the nut back on right. It goes this way, I think. And I think this is like the 4th oil change I've done on each one. 4th time I've had to do the oil changes on these. Because the first time, or the second time, I waited 2 years, which was really stupid. But these things don't get used very much. And I think they both have around 30 hours each on them. We'll find out when I go to start it. I check the oil level. And the other thing about the oil level is I'm not going to finalize it here. Because the engine needs to be warm. So we're just going to have enough oil in it to run it. When I get to the water, put it in the water, get it nice and warm, check the level again. So I got that nice and tight with the red Loctite. You don't want to put a lot in there because you don't want it getting in the engine. And then we got our brand new oil filter. It goes on any which way. These O-rings, could lube them up a little bit better because we don't want them getting pinched. And these things are a little weird too. I'm going to reach in the engine, grab a little bit of oil to lubricate these O-rings. Still not enough. I know I'm doing this a little hokey pokey, but so got them all nice and lubed up from the oil in the engine. Got the nut on there. We're going to go ahead and install these. The one thing that's a little weird about these is that this filter cap actually doesn't sit all the way down. So it's going to be a little weird, but it looks funny, but that's just how they are. This is the first time I did it, I thought I did it wrong. But we just go ahead and tighten this down. I'm sure there's a torque spec. I don't really know it. Just going to go nice and slow. As long as you got them lubed up, you'll be good to go. Okay, there's that. So we got that all nice and tight. Let's go ahead and wipe it down. And then the oil, I'm going to pump it some more. It seemed like, oh, there's some more right there. Got to get all of that oil out of there so we can put the fresh oil in there. And we got brand new oil right here. The same stuff. Like liquid gold with the price of it. So what I'm pretty much going to add is, I'm going to add the 3 big bottles. This I'm probably going to end up having to add when I get it on the water. So we'll deal with that at that time. So now we're done with the sucker. We're going to go ahead and put this thing away. This is how you fill the oil right here. Of course it's me, so it's really tight. And you can let it fall because you have another one. Make sure your funnel's nice and clean. Go ahead and put the funnel in. Pour these things in. I think this thing holds a little bit over 3 quarts. So we're only going to put 3 in there for now. And like I said, I'll double check it when I get on the water. Because this is like a kind of a dry sump system, I guess, or something like that. So it's not, you know, you don't check it the normal way. And truthfully, I think I've been overfilling these because I wasn't paying much attention to it. And hopefully I'm pouring it in the engine because I don't even know. But it says on that cover, it tells you how to check it. But, you know, I don't know how to read. I don't want to make a mess. And I know there's like wax and stuff all over this thing. I've been rushing to get this stuff done. So when I get out on the water, it'll clean itself up. Then we'll put the drain plug back in on the ride plate for the cooling system, and we'll start filling the cooling system up. Like I said, I'm just doing a drain and fill on it right now. I bought 12 quarts of fluid and didn't take all that, so what I'll probably end up doing is the beginning of next year, I'll do another drain and fill to try to get rid of the old coolant that's in the system. You know, these things aren't cheap. You might as well just maintain them. It sucks. The oil changes are expensive, especially if you have to pay somebody to do it. You know, I don't know what kind of stuff people use, but the factory stuff for me seems to be the best. You know, I know oil is a big debatable thing, but this stuff was built for it. And this thing also does have a supercharger, and it has these little clutches or something on the supercharger, so it has to have the correct type of oil for those clutches to operate. Because if you use just regular oil, like a 1040 oil or whatever, or I'm putting 540 in. If you use anything else, it might not have the stuff for those clutches in there. And this one don't say nothing, it just says meets API SM, contains petroleum distillates. Just says 544T, so I don't know. For the money, I don't really want to have to worry about my watercraft. Especially being out on the water and having something happen, that's the last thing I'd want. It's worth it for the extra money just to buy the perfect stuff and not have to worry about it. Because the first time I did them, I actually bought kits off Amazon, but I did buy the factory ones, but I guess some of them don't come with factory filters, so make sure you keep an eye on that. Now, do you need a factory filter? I don't know. Me personally, I'd rather have one. So we're going to go ahead and put this drain plug back in. There's a copper washer on there and some goop. We're just going to let that be. It'll be fine. So we'll go ahead and snug this back up, and then we'll fill her up. I would like to flush it, but these things are kind of a pain in the butt because they have this thing called a carbon seal, and that's what seals like the pump shaft, the pump drive shaft basically, to the ski so it doesn't leak. And you're not supposed to run it out of water very long because it'll burn the seal up. It'll burn the carbon seal up. And the carbon seal is actually this little guy right here. This is the carbon seal. You can see I don't have my light with me. I'll get my head out of the way. But this is the carbon seal. That's the flange. This is what seals the backside in. And it's always a good idea to take a look and just double check, make sure everything looks good. These things, as I'm learning a little bit more, a good idea to check all your hose clamps, make sure your hoses aren't loose. Because I guess they pop off on some people, which is pretty scary. But every time I go in here and do an oil change or any kind of service, I always double check and look. But now we can go ahead and fill her back up with some coolant. We got the fancy schmancy liquid gold. This stuff is very expensive. I don't remember how much I paid for it. Probably on purpose, if you know what I mean. I don't want to know. So we're just going to go ahead and fill it up. I really want to do a vacuum fill, but I don't have enough air here to do that with my cheesy little air compressors. And we got drain plug in, so we'll fill this back up. The other one took about 3, so I expect this one to take the same. And I'm spilling it everywhere, of course. And fun little fact, try to take a guess if you don't know how much horsepower this engine makes. And put it down in the comments down below. Because this is I believe it's a 1630cc supercharged engine. It runs on obviously 91 octane. But that's about it, just 91 octane and supercharged 1630cc engine. It makes more power than most new cars do, even to this day. Just a regular car, which is kind of crazy. So hopefully you've already put down your response, but this thing actually makes 300 horsepower. It has this little tiny 3-cylinder engine. And when you're on the water, it feels every bit of it. This thing is not a slouch. And there's a huge aftermarket community for these things. You know, some people 400 horsepower, which, I mean, they don't measure it in horsepower really. They measure it in speed, top speed. But like this one will do 70. It'll do 68 miles an hour legally, because that's the Coast Guard. You know, that's what the Coast Guard makes it do. That's kind of the regulation. But I have had it do 72 miles an hour. So for some weird reason, according to the machine. Now, whether that be actually true, the 72 miles an hour, I don't know. But I almost forgot. I have to install this little device on here. And what it does, it removes that speed limiter so we can go a little bit faster. How fast? Nobody knows, but the ski doesn't seem to have a problem. So I'm hoping I can at least do 74, 75 miles an hour. But even with me on it, this thing is a little rocket ship. Even though it weighs 1,000 pounds. And I know I'm going to overfill this a little bit, but I'm going to do that on purpose. But if you ever get the chance to ride one of these, you totally should. It's such amazing. It's just so much fun. They just have so much power. Especially this one. The one next to us, the blue one, is a 230 horsepower model. It's a very similar engine, just I think it's a 1500 cc engine. I think. So now let's show you the part. I don't want to step on it. So we're gonna go ahead and turn the key on. And how many hours does this thing have? 32 hours. So we're going to fire up. And that's as much as I want it to run without water hooked to it. Because you're supposed to have water hooked to it, even for the exhaust. But I always check the oil filter, wipe my hands around. It's nice and dry. The coolant, I left the cap off just to burp it on purpose. There was coolant flowing out of this little breather hose, so I'm going to call that full for now. Like when I get out on the water, I'm going to double check both of them, check the coolant, check the oil. These reservoirs are kind of chintzy, so you got to be a little bit careful with that. But everything looked good back there. Oil filter's nice and dry. We'll let it sit for a couple more seconds, then we'll pull the drain plug, We're gonna pull the dipstick and see what the level's at. We just want it somewhere in the safe zone for now. It might be a little over full because the trailer's not level, so we'll just deal with it for now. I can always adjust it there, it doesn't matter. And then I want to install that device, which should usually only take a couple minutes. And you can see right here, it's right there, halfway, roughly halfway in between, maybe just a smidge over, which that's perfect. That's right where you want the ski. You don't want these full. According to everybody, don't quote me, this is just what I read, and stuff you read on the internet, you've got to take with a grain of salt. People don't know what they're talking about. If you overfill it, which makes sense, you overfill the oil because you don't know how to check it like me. I didn't. It'll actually put it through the breather right here. I can show you. What it'll do is it'll put it through the breather. This is the PCV breather. Push it back into the intake. Suck it in the supercharger. And what it'll do is it'll fill that intercooler right there full of oil. It won't fill it full of oil, but what'll happen is to get oil on the inside of it, and it'll reduce the efficiency and it'll lose power. So, which makes sense, but I mean, I guess I don't know. But yeah, so we want to make sure the oil level's good. So let me go grab that device and we're going to go ahead and pop it on and get this thing rocking. So apparently this is where it has to go. It has to be mounted right here. According to the instructions, it wants me to cut this out, put it on here, and then mark it out. I'm kind of a little lazy to do that. So what we're going to do, this is what it looks like. It's supposed to sit just like this. And I don't see a problem with it being over here. I'd rather it kind of away from the coolant reservoir, but they want it like that. The only thing that I don't like is that's where the sealing surface is for this, but you know, whatever. So what my thought is, just use this as its own template. We're going to mount it right there. We're going to drill these holes out. There's one. There's two. Yeah, that hurt me as much as I don't like drilling holes in my stuff, but I really want to get this over with. And the drill that I used wasn't big enough because I don't have the right size. Because I didn't want to go too big, so we're going to go the next size up. That was a 3/16, so we're going to use a 7/32 now. It says to use a 19/64, and I didn't transfer that into... I didn't look up and see which one's closest. Because right now, I can't really think, and that one's a little bit still too small, obviously. It's like you're screaming out on the computer. So, 19/64. We're gonna do something a little bad. Don't watch this. We're gonna go with a 1/4 inch. That's the next size up that I have. Here's my cheesy little Milwaukee set. But the good news is the holes are a little bit bigger, so it'll sit a little deeper in there. Those are Phillips. Okay. Wasn't expecting that. So hopefully I did this right. I got stuff all inside my engine bay, which sucks. So hopefully the holes line up. I'm not very good at cutting, so it wouldn't surprise me if the holes didn't line up, even though I matched it up. There's that one. This one's gonna be a little bit more difficult, so I'm gonna have to crawl up here. Actually, and the washer's on there. Some miracle the washer actually stayed on the bracket. No idea why. I want to crack it. Crack whatever this hole's made of. And what this device is called, it's called a scom, Speed Control Override Module. And it's by Riva Racing. So they make them for all kinds of skis. I really don't like it's in the middle of that seal, but this is actually where it would be if I even used the template. It would probably just be a smidge back, but it is what it is. So finally got that done. Now we just take the diagnostic connector, plug it in there, and then we plug this. This is the diagnostic connector now. Plug it into the holder, good to go. And allegedly, this thing should start in sport mode every time, because if you don't know, this thing has a lot of modes. And just a little side note, if you do have a Seadoo or something like this is actually a really nice kit. This is a Blue Point kit I bought years ago. And Blue Point's like the Chinese Snap-on. I think it's Snap-on, it's the same company, it's just Blue Point. It's made in China, it's not made in America. But this is actually a nice little kit. They are very expensive. I think now this kit's like $500–600. When I bought it, I think I paid around $4. But you know, you have deeps, shorts. This thing goes all the way to 1 inch, 24mm. Trying to find something like this is actually quite difficult, and it'd be of a decent quality. This kit's not used very much, but for me, it comes in handy when we go out. I keep this in the trailer with me anytime, anywhere I go, just because you never know. But we have E4 torques, inverted torque, all the way to E20. You know, I have metric, standard, deep, 1/4 inch sockets, all that stuff. And then there's more up here too. It gives you a nice diagram. And here's a 10. We should just throw that now because probably going to lose it anyways. I try not to lose my tools. But over here we have a little breaker bar. I got a little knife. I don't know why, but I have a swivel, 1/4 inch ratchet. You get your assorted extensions. You get some torques. This is an adapter from 1/4 inch to the 1/4 inch, like these little bits. It's a really nice kit for the money. You get spark plug sockets. You know, you have your metric Allens. You only have a couple, and then you have the rest down here in these bits. But it's a really nice kit. I know people scoff at Snap-on and Blue Point because it's expensive, but this kit is really nice. These aren't part of it. These little adapters. These are Milwaukee. I have one over here. I keep a 1/4, 3/8, and 1/2-inch adapter to my impact, because you never know. I'm lazy. I don't want to have to do this stuff by hand. But let me put some of these tools away, and then we'll go ahead and stab the back on and get this thing rocking. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and put this awkward cover back on that I, for some reason, this dual battery thing, I do without destroying my ski. There we go. Just like that, it's done. Let's make sure this cap's tight. You guys can't see nothing. Well, might not go down with that either. So there's that. We're gonna go ahead and put these in for alignment. Like I said, they're all the same, so it doesn't really matter. And my camera, I think, is 1% left, so try to beat the clock. It's likely not gonna happen though. Okay, so I got the covers on, everything back together. It's allegedly supposed to start in sport mode, so we'll see. Not really sure, but installing that device says it was supposed to start in sport mode. But we'll get it out on the water and see what happens. There's allegedly a lot of problems with those modules, I guess, so we'll see what happens. But thanks for watching. If you like it, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below. Thank you. Bye.